very useful to research scholars in the collection of their materials during this pandemic or lockdown situation. We hope that this webinar will be very fruitful to all the participants. We are very happy to inform you that we got an overwhelming response in the participation. 220 registrations were received, out of which 55 are from outside Kerala. We appreciate your eagerness in the participation of this webinar arranged by the IQAC and Research Department of Commerce. Here are some instructions to follow. The webinar will be conducted via Google Meet. Please make sure to mute the microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. Never click the Present Now button on the screen at any point. Click Join Now to enter the session. You can raise your questions in the chat box within Google Meet. The links to the feedback form will be posted in the chat box of Google Meet. All participants who attend the webinar will receive their e-certificates only on submission of their feedback form. The e-certificate dispatch is an automated process. Please take extra care while filling up the required fields such as title, full name, designation, and institution name in the feedback form. Those information will appear as such in the e-certificate. We have our resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S., team leader of India Knowledge Collective, advisor of Mendeley Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, executive editor and web admin of Health Infonet e-learning portal and website, librarian St. Stephen's College, Ulavur. We have immense pleasure to receive such an honorable resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S. Mahatma College invites you for joining us for today's webinar. Mahatma College, Chungatra, IQAC Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce jointly welcome you to the national webinar. Mahatma College, Chungatra was established in 1981 by the Mahatma Church as a college for rural development. Our college aims at uplifting the socially, economically, and educationally backward areas of Malappuram district. The college is re-accredited with NAC A grade, and at present we are in the stage of expecting the peer team visit, which was postponed due to this COVID issues. College offers 8 UG courses, 2 PG courses, and 1 research department in the Department of Commerce. Department of Commerce started with pre-degree in 1981, BCom in 1990, MCom in 2001, elevated as research department in 2017. We are very active in the academic activities in the Calicut University area. At present, under 2 research guides, 10 research scholars are doing their research. This webinar is very useful to research scholars in the collection of materials during the pandemic or lockdown situation. We hope that this webinar will be very fruitful to all the participants. We are very happy to inform you that we got an overwhelming response in the participation. 220 registrations were received, out of which 55 are from outside Kerala. We appreciate your eagerness in the participation of this webinar arranged by the IQC and Research Department of Commerce. Here are some instructions to follow. The webinar will be conducted via Google Meet. Please make sure to mute your microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. Never click the Present Now button on the screen at any point. Click Join Now to enter the session. You can raise your questions in the chat box within the Google Meet. The link to the feedback form will be posted in the chat box of Google Meet at the end of this webinar. All participants who attend the webinar will receive their e-certificate only on submission of the feedback form. The e-certificate dispatch is an automated process. Please take extra care while filling up the required fields such as title, full name, designation, and institution name in the feedback form. Those information will appear as such in the e-certificate. We have our resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S., Team Leader of India Knowledge Collective, Advisor of Mendeley Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, Executive Editor and Web Admin of Health Infonet e-learning portal and website, Librarian St. Stephen's College, Uravu. We welcome you, Sri Jasimuddin S. We will begin our session at 2:30 p.m. Marthoma College thanking you for joining us for today's webinar. Marthoma College, Chungatra, IQC Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce jointly welcome you to the national webinar. Marthoma College, Chungatra was established in 1981 by the Marthoma Church as a college for rural development. Our college aims at uplifting the socially, economically, and educationally backward areas of Malappuram district. The college is re-accredited with NAC A-grade, and at present we are in the stage of expecting the peer team visit, which was postponed due to this COVID issues. College offers 8 UG courses, 2 PG courses, and 1 research department in the Department of Commerce. We will start at sharp 2:30 p.m. All are expected to stay tuned.
Hello? Allegra, are you there?
Hello, Dinoj. Robin, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am, here.
Hello, Mr. Ende sound kekamo?
Yes, yes, here you, sir.
Robin, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Sir.
Okay, fine, fine.
Robin, കേൾക്കാമോ?
Yes, ma'am, കേൾക്കാം.
Okay,
Hello.
thank you. കേൾക്കാം.
Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Marthoma College Chungatra, IQAC Postgraduate and Research Department of Commerce jointly welcome you to the national webinar. Marthoma College Chungatra was established in 1981 by the Marthoma Church as a college for rural development. Our college aims at uplifting the socially, economically, and educationally backward areas of Malappuram district. The college is re-accredited with NAAC A grade, and at present we are in the stage of expecting the peer team visit, which was postponed due to this COVID issues. College offers 8 UG courses, 2 PG courses, and 1 research department in the Department of Commerce. Department of Commerce started with pre-degree in 1981, BCom in 1990, MCom in 2001, elevated as research department in 2017. We are very active in the academic activities in the Calicut University area. At present, under 2 research guides, 10 research scholars are doing their research. This webinar is very useful to research scholars in the collection of their materials during this pandemic or lockdown situation. We hope that this webinar will be very fruitful to all the participants. We are very happy to inform you that we got an overwhelming response in the participation. 220 registrations were received, out of which 55 are from outside Kerala. We appreciate your eagerness in the participation of this webinar arranged by the IQAC and Research Department of Commerce. Here are some instructions to follow. The webinar will be conducted via Google Meet. Please make sure to mute the microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. Never click the present now button on the screen at any point. Click join now to enter the session. You can raise your questions in the chat box within Google Meet. The link to the feedback form will be posted in the chat box of Google Meet at the end of the webinar. All participants who attend the webinar will receive their e-certificates only on submission of their feedback form. The e-certificate dispatch is an automated process. Please take extra care while filling up the required fields such as title, full name, designation, and institution name in the feedback form. Those information will appear as such in the e-certificate. We have our resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S., team leader of India Knowledge Collective, advisor of Mendeley Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, Executive Editor and Web Admin of Health Infonet e-learning portal and website, Librarian, St. Stephen's College, Uravu. Webinar will start at sharp 2:30 p.m. All are expected to stay tuned. Here are some instructions to follow. The webinar will be conducted via Google Meet. Please make sure to mute your microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. Never click the Present Now button on the screen at any point. Click Join Now to enter the session. You can raise your questions in the chat box within the Google Meet. The link to the feedback form will be posted in chat box of Google Meet. All participants who attend the webinar will receive their e-certificates only on submission of the feedback form. Please note that the e-certificate will be issued to everyone within 3 days and not on immediately submitting the feedback form. The e-certificate dispatch is an automated process. Please take extra care while filling up the required fields such as title, full name, designation, and institution name in the feedback form. Those information will appear as such in the e-certificate. Good afternoon and welcome everyone. Thank you for joining us for today's webinar. Marthoma College Chungatra, IQAC and Postgraduate Research Department of Commerce jointly welcome you to the national webinar. Marthoma College Chungatra was established in 1981 by the Marthoma Church as a college for rural development. Our college aims at uplifting the socially, economically, and educationally backward areas of Malappuram district. The college is re-accredited with NAC A grade, and at present we are in the stage of expecting the peer team visit, which was postponed due to this COVID issue. College offers 8 UG courses, 2 PG courses, and 1 research department in the Department of Commerce. Department of Commerce started with pre-degree in 1981, BCom in 1990, MCom in 2001, elevated as research department in 2017. We are very active in the academic activities in the Calicut University area. At present, under 2 research guides, 10 research scholars are doing their research. This webinar is very useful to research scholars in the collection of materials during this pandemic or lockdown situation. Please make sure to mute your microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. We hope that this webinar will be very fruitful to all the participants. We are very happy to inform you that we got an overwhelming response in the participation. 220 registrations were received, out of which 55 are from outside Kerala. We appreciate your eagerness in the participation of this webinar arranged by the IQAC and Research Department of Commerce. Here are some instructions to follow. The webinar will be conducted via Google Meet. Please make sure to mute your microphone and turn off your camera till the end of the presentation. Never click the present now button on the screen at any point. Click join now to enter the session. You can raise your questions in the chat box within Google Meet. The link to the feedback form will be posted in the chat box of Google Meet at the end of this webinar. All participants who attend the webinar will receive their e-certificate only on submission of the feedback form. Please note that the e-certificate will be issued to everyone within 3 days and not on immediately submitting the feedback form. The e-certificate dispatch is an automated process. Please take extra care while filling up the required fields such as title, full name, designation, and institution name in the feedback form. Those information will appear as such in the e-certificate. We have our resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S., team leader of India Knowledge Collective, advisor of Mendeley Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, executive editor and web admin of Help Infonet e-learning portal and website, librarian, St. Stephen's College, Ulavu. Now we shall begin our session. Once again, we welcome you all. I would like to welcome Dr. Rajiv Thomas, Head of the Department of Commerce and IQC Coordinator, Mahatma College, Chungatra, to officially deliver the welcome address.
Good afternoon, dear friends. The Research Department of Commerce and IQAC of our college appreciate your eagerness to participate in this national webinar. We are very honored by the registration of 220 persons, out of which 55 are from the different states other than Kerala. This national webinar focuses the research scholars who are affected due to the COVID and lockdown situation. The focus of the webinar is to help the research scholars to formulating effective strategies for web information retrieval. We hope that this interactive session will enlighten the research process of the participants. This national webinar is inaugurated by Dr. Reina Thomas, Principal of our college. She brings dynamic leadership to our college. I welcome Dr. Reina Thomas to this webinar on behalf of all the participants and the organizing committee. The resource person of our webinar is Sri Jasim. He is a very dynamic young professional utilizing the digital platform in retrieving the resources. Earlier, he was in Mahatma Gandhi University, Kottayam, and now he is working in St. Stephen's College, Uravur, Kottayam. He is holding key position in various digital platforms. I am extremely happy to welcome dear Jasim to our webinar as a resource person on behalf of Mahatma College community, Department of Commerce, and all the participants. The IQAC and the Department of Commerce wholeheartedly welcomes all the participants from different institutions spread all over India. Thank you for your esteemed presence in the national webinar conducted by our college. We wish that this session will be a fruitful one to all of you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your welcome address. Next, for the inaugural address, I would like to invite Dr. Reina Thomas, Principal, Mahatma College, Chungatra.
Good afternoon, friends. I am happy and proud that our Research Department of Commerce and IQAC of our college is conducting the national webinar on effective strategies for web information retrieval. I appreciate the efforts of Department of Commerce and IQAC for the same. We are also happy that we have the resource person, Sri Jasimuddin S., librarian of St. Stephen's College, Uravur, a young, talented, charismatic person. I welcome you, sir, to our college community for presenting the topic. I welcome all the participants on behalf of the college, and I proudly invite all of you to be a part of the college. I'm very happy in inaugurating the session. Hope the session will be a very fruitful one so that you all may be benefited with it. Thank you. Thank you all.
Thank you, ma'am, for your valuable words. Next, we have the most awaited session. I would like to introduce our resource person, team leader of India Knowledge Collective, advisor of Mendeley Reference Management Software Elsevier Group, executive editor and web admin of Health Infonet e-learning portal and website, librarian, St. Stephen's College, Uravur, Sri Jasimuddin S. We are eagerly waiting for your words, sir. We would love to hear from you. We welcome you, sir.
Rajesh sir start ചെയ്യല്ലോ അല്ലേ? Hello.
Okay, sir. Start here.
Okay, good afternoon. First of all, I would like to congratulate the Research Department of Commerce of Marthoma College, Chungatara for organizing this national webinar. And also I thank Dr. Rajiv for inviting me as the resource person. I will be presenting some tips and tricks for the effective academic information retrieval from the web. Hope all of us search the web for our academic purposes. And many of us are doyens in searching information from the web effectively, but some persons are there, some research scholars are there who do not know how to effectively search and retrieve information from the web. I will be presenting some tips and tricks to retrieve relevant information in short span of time. I am directly going to the presentation. You can ask clarification at the end of the session. You may type it down in the chat box if you have any queries. And I will also give my contact number and email address so that you can contact me in future for any further clarifications. I am sharing the screen now. We all search web for academic information, that I said in the beginning. See, I think you can see my screen, right? Can you see the screen now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Suppose a person is doing research on Shakespeare. Normally, the search begins with Google and the search ends with Google. In the case of many research scholars, the same thing is happening. They start with Google, they start their research with Google and ends with Google. I am going to demonstrate the different capabilities of searching tools by giving a simple keyword on Shakespeare. See, this is a Google interface. I have typed the keyword Shakespeare. See the results. I think you can see this. About 80 crore 90 lakh results. That means in the World Wide Web, there are 80 crore 90 lakh web pages in which there is mentioning of William Shakespeare. Normally, a research scholar or a searcher will look into 10 to 20 pages for the requirement. And most probably, or sometimes, the most authoritative and authentic information on Shakespeare may be in some other pages, and the searcher is going to miss it out. This is the problem of Google. Okay, the first page, the first search output came is William Shakespeare from Wikipedia. See, I am using another search tool for searching about Shakespeare with the same keyword. See, it is this one, IPL2, Internet Public Library. I am giving the same keyword, Shakespeare. See the outputs. This is Internet Public Library. Now it's no longer, the project is going on. See, the first output is Internet Shakespeare Editions, Shakespeare's Life and Times. Then Shakespeare Resource Center is in the as the third output. Then Shakespeare Bookshelf. Just click that search output. It will give you a virtual bookshelf of all the works of Shakespeare. See, there is a bookshelf. You can click any book. You can read that book. See how the same keyword produces different outputs when I gave it in two different search tools. This is what is called the difference in search outputs, and we have to have the knowledge of effective search strategies for retrieving relevant information in short span of time. This is one example. See, I am taking another search engine, and the name is Wolfram Alpha. I think many of you are not aware of this search engine. This is a general search engine. I am giving a keyword. See, deep sea. I entered the button. See the output. First, there is a definition of deep sea. Deep is referring to bodies of water. Then a tabular form output is produced. The shallowest, deepest, median. Then a histogram is there. Then average depth rankings of various deep seas in the different oceans of the world. See, a tabular form is there. Give the same keyword in Google deep sea, you will get different results. That means the search capability and search capacity of each and every search engine varies. The web is a growing organism, so a research scholar should know what are all the search engines or the search tools available for retrieving relevant information on a specific topic. And I am going to share with you the details of such search tools for the effective information retrieval. I'm taking a PPT. Search tools. There are 4 PPTs. I may not be able to discuss all the things in all the 4 PPTs. I will mail you these PPTs to all of the registered participants so that you can go through that and get more information about search tools and strategies. Before starting your search, it's a good idea to have a basic understanding of the tools used to retrieve information. That is, the words are there is internet, World Wide Web, search engine, etc. Then, what is internet and World Wide Web? The terms internet and World Wide Web are often used interchangeably, but they are not the same thing. You have to understand it first. Internet and WWW are different things. The internet provides the electronic communication infrastructure, and the web uses the infrastructure to find and display information from a variety of sources. What are search engines? Search engines are large databases of web page files, and there are different classification of search engines: general search engine, meta search engine, deep web search engine, academic search engine, etc. And how these search engines retrieve information, and they use a program called Spider or Robot to crawl through web pages, and they index that information and add it to the search engine's index. That means when you give a keyword, the search engine goes to its index and retrieves information which was stored prior and display it in your search results. When you use a search engine such as Google, Yahoo, Ask, AltaVista, etc., you are asking it to scan its index of sites and match your keywords and phrases with those in the text of documents within the database. Then, when you give a keyword, you may get documents in which your keyword appears only once, or results are displayed which may not be relevant to your topic. Both things happen. Then, one thing you have to understand is no two search engines are exactly alike in terms of size, speed and content, ranking schemes, and search options that I showed in the beginning. When you give a keyword in the Google Shakespeare, it gives a different set of results. When you give the same keyword in Internet Public Library, it gives a different set of search outputs. Then, remember, a search engine cannot think of you. A search engine don't know who is searching. Then, it cannot understand what you mean by your concept or terms. It can only match the words you choose. And another thing is, no single search engine can access the entire web. It is a pivotal thing you have to understand. Because a web is a growing organism, search engines like Google are classified under the term general search engines, and Google indexes only 30 to 40% of the World Wide Web. That means you are missing out the remaining 60% of information when you use Google alone for your search purposes. The information you retrieve will depend upon the search engines used and the search terms you use. Then, before using a search engine, you have to look for the help, tips, or FAQ page in the home page of the search engine, and it will let you know what are the capabilities of that search engine. Then searching for information can be frustrating and the results are overwhelming. Analyzing your topic and then using search techniques effectively will help you to obtain the information you need for research or personal use. Before starting searching, the prerequisites, I will explain the prerequisites. First, take time to think about exactly what you are looking for. That means be specific. Then it may be useful to write out your topic in the form of a sentence or a question to help clarify exactly what type of information you need. Before start searching, you have to write a tentative title. By combining the various concepts, you have to frame a tentative title and then start searching. Then, for example, I want to research on dyslexia, reading disorder. Then, what about this topic are you interested in? You have to ask the question. Suppose you are researching on international business or consumer satisfaction. What about that topic are you interested in? Do you want to know the extent of problem? In the case of dyslexia, do you want to know the extent of problem? That is the statistics. Then signs and symptoms of dyslexia, effect on learning, how to help someone with dyslexia, what age group. You have to brainstorm yourself the key concept, the key components, key segments of that research problem. Example 2, I want to research on driving in the elderly population. What about this topic are you interested in? Do you want to know the physical changes that affect the elderly? How many elderly still drive? That is statistics. Any statistics available or not? Any laws that limit driving based on the age? Then pros and cons of driving after a certain age, etc., etc. Once you identify your topic, break it into key concepts or points. That's the paramount thing. Write down all the keywords and phrases that best describe your topic. And choosing of keywords is important. Think of synonyms, that is related terms for each concept or point. That means each synonyms gives you different result when you give in different search engines. That's the core thing. Then consider spelling variations as well as the singular and plural of words. Singular and plural gives different set of search outputs. Then example, if writing about dyslexia in the adult population, consider the terms such as dyslexia, reading disorder, developmental reading disorder, learning disability, etc. Then adults, mature individuals, etc. Then in the case of researching driving and the elderly, the core theme is driving, then drive, automobile driving, car driving, auto driving, etc. Elderly, synonymous terms, old, aged, geriatric, etc., etc., etc. Then the words you use will determine the information you find. Using different words in your search engine may give you additional information. That's the pivotal thing you have to understand. To do a basic search on most search engines, type in a keyword you have identified. Example, dyslexia. This will produce the greatest number of results, though often not what you want. Remember the example of Shakespeare. It produced more than 80 crore 90 lakh output. Many of the outputs are not relevant. Then remember one thing, apart from single keyword searching, a multiple keyword search retrieves more specific or focused results. Example, elderly, driving, laws. When using a multiple keyword search, put the most important keywords first to get more authentic information. So simple keyword searching, then multiple keyword search. Then use double quotes when you search. It will give more authentic and authoritative result. For example, nursing care plans versus nursing care plans without double quotes. Then World Health Organization with quotes and without quotes will produce different results. You can refine and improve your search by using different techniques to broaden or narrow your search results. For example, use a plus sign in front of a word to require its inclusion. Suppose you want to include a keyword in the search output. For example, dog plus cat. No space between the sign and the word. Dog plus cat. When you give the keyword dog plus cat, the search output will contain dog and cat. Use a minus sign for the exclusion. Dog minus cat. You will get pages where there will be no mentioning of cat at all. Then using lowercase and uppercase, previously the search engines will identify the lowercase and uppercase differently, but the recent literature I have read shows that both uppercase and lowercase are equally taken by the search engines. Then this is one important search technique, that is Boolean searching. When you search academic databases, always try Boolean operators to get relevant results. Normally, I have worked in Mahatma Gandhi University. Majority of the scholars coming over there, I never saw using these Boolean search operators for searching academic databases. So in future, you use Boolean operators for getting relevant results. And the Boolean operator strings are and or not. Remember, it's caps. And is capital, or is capital, and not is capital. What does they do? What is the use of these operators? Use of operator and narrows your search because the results must contain all of the search terms connected by the word and. For example, heart and lung. It will narrows your search results. Newborn and infant. Then dyslexia and adults. Then use of operator or. I think it's hearing. It's okay now. You can see the screen, right?
Okay, sir, we can see.
Okay. Use of the operator or broadens your search because the results must contain at least one of the search terms connected by the word or, heart or lung. That means your search output will be very high. It will be exhaustive. Then use of operator not excludes. Not and minus sign will give the same effect. It excludes the term so that your results do not contain any of the search terms that follow it. Then some additional search tips are truncation and wildcards. What is truncation? See the example. Typing the stem or root of a word plus then asterisk mark, question mark, or dollar symbol at the end of the word will retrieve all forms of word. For example, allergy plus dollar will yield allergy, allergic, allergen, etc. Then gastro, after that give the asterisk sign, will yield gastroenteritis, gastrointestinal, gastroenterologist, etc. Then what is wildcard? See the example, woman and women. If you do not know the spelling of certain keywords, give the wildcard symbol. WOM question mark N. It will yield both woman and women. The symbols used may vary depending upon the database or search engine you are using. And the take-home message is there is no right or wrong approach. It depends upon. Suppose you give a simple keyword, you may get the most relevant information, and sometimes it will not. Then the search output will depend upon the topic you choose, the time you have, but never wait until the last minute. In normal cases, when the submission times arrives, the people are running behind or searching for resources for getting information, and don't do that. Never wait for the final time to come. Then how exhaustive your search needs to be, you have to do it. This is one slide. Then I will explain another slide also. Advanced academic web search strategies. First thing you have to do is topic selection. How to find a topic. That's the most difficult task as far as a research scholar is concerned. To find a relevant topic is the most difficult thing. And what are all the easy ways available for finding a research topic or a research gap? Then the things you have to remember is that you can choose your own topic. If you have strong analytical skills, then strong reading base, etc., you can choose your own topic. Then when you are selecting a topic, that topic should be something which makes you interesting, which strongly interests you. The easiest way to find a research gap or research topic is asking experts. Just ask your guide or the experts in that field. They know what updates and developments in that field, and they can easily point out you can choose that topic. It's an emerging topic. There's a scope for doing research in that area. There is a research gap. You read on it. You can find the research gap, etc. The experts in that field will tell you. Then refer sources. For finding a topic, refer sources. Then the most important reference source is thesis. And look in the areas of further study or study limitations area. You can find the areas of further study. You can see the areas which are all not covered by that research, and there is a scope for further study. Then doing a web search, or reading, wide reading will help you to find a research topic. And when you search yourself, always look for disagreements. That means it is said that disagreements keeps a research gap open. And this is one example. There is current example how disagreements keeps a research gap open. And the first study is by Kristen Anderson of Scripps Institute. And the conclusion of that study is the coronavirus is not a lab origin, it's a natural one. The second study is what it will take to trace the coronavirus. It's another study. It also appeared in Nature magazine. And its conclusion is that there is no way to identify whether this coronavirus originated in lab or in nature. We cannot distinguish between the source from which it originated. And the third link is it's also by a scholar, and he says that it is easy to develop a virus which is similar to coronavirus in the lab. And the fourth one is gain of function research. And the gain of function research is nothing but increasing the infectivity of viruses seen in nature in lab. See, after reading all these four documents, you can find a disagreement between the experts, and that disagreement means there is a research gap of further study. Somebody else is talking. See, if you find the disagreements, make it your topic, and the topic should be a creative one. Then it should not be broad. Don't choose broad subjects for your research study. Then how to find this broad subject and narrow subjects? For that, you have to have the knowledge of subject classification. What is the core subject? What are the subtopic, etc. You have to identify. For example, physics. Physics is the core area. Then quantum mechanics, astrophysics, electronics, etc. Like that. If you are a commerce research scholar, you have to have knowledge about the core topics and subtopics of your major subject. For that, just go to the library and ask a librarian to give you the subject classification scheme, and refer that subject classification scheme. You can see the subject classification of each and every topic in the world. Then how to narrow down a topic? There are several methods to narrow down a topic by adding a geographical context, historical context, biological context, etc. You can narrow down the topic. See the example given here. It's a general example. Suppose the broad area is environmental science. You can identify a narrow area, that is deforestation, vananashikaranam, paristhiti shastram, vananashikaranam, broad area and narrow area. Then after finding the narrow area, you have to ask questions. Who, what, where, when, why, how, and what after. What is deforestation? Who has done deforestation? Where deforestation occurred? When deforestation occurred? Why occurring? How it is occurring? And what are the after effects of deforestation? And if you answer all these questions or brainstorm these questions, you can make a tentative title. See the example. Effects of deforestation in gorillas in Africa. Africa is the geographical context, gorilla is the biological context, deforestation is the central theme, and the effects is the study. That means that. Then the second example, this is a general title, effects of deforestation in gorillas in Africa. You can narrow down that title to little bit further. See the current effects. The historical context is given over there. Then deforestation central theme. Then see gorillas changed to mountain gorillas. A geographical, a biological context is added there. Then southwest Uganda. it was Africa in the initial question, but it changed to Southwest Uganda. This is how you can add. This is the way and method by adding geographical, historical, and biological and other context to your title and making it narrow or smaller one. Another example is study of marketing practices, central theme, NGOs, then Kottayam district. For before starting searching, you have to find a title which is quite narrow in your area. Oh, here is heavy rain and wind over there. Suppose some technical difficulties will occur. Then, how to find a topic? There are so many softwares available for finding topic, and the one is, you just write it down. One is Gale Topic Founder. It's a subscribed database. You can access the Gale Topic Finder using user ID and password, and you can give some central keywords, and it will generate key concept and subtopics or related concepts. Related to the topic you are doing. The second thing is, the second source is Answer the Public. It is also a public search tool for finding topics. I will show you the demo of Answer the Public in the end. Then, to find a central theme or a trending topic, you have to visit authentic websites on various subjects. For example, suppose you are an economics or commerce research scholar, business.com or businessdictionary.com will give you the core concepts of this business, economics or commerce, or the trending topics in that area. You select, you pick and choose a central theme of your choice and go to Gale Topic Finder or Answer the Public, type in that keyword over there, then press the enter button. You will get a concept map of all the things related to that central theme. See, then after formulating the tentative title, finding the keywords, you have to start web search. For searching, several tools are available. See the classification of search engines: general search engine, meta search engine, deep web search engine, academic search engine, then academic databases. I would suggest that your search begins with start your searching with academic databases first. Then do your search in a reverse manner. See the examples of search engines: Google, Yahoo, Wolfram Alpha, etc. are general search engines. I showed in the beginning how a keyword differed, the output differed in Wolfram Alpha and Google. Then the second thing, Dogpile, Clusty, Metacrawler, Cartho. So many search engines are there. I have mentioned earlier 4, and these are meta search engines. And for effective and centralized searching, these meta search engines can be used. Then the third one is deep web search engines. For searching deep web, you have to use search engines like DuckDuckGo, EP, Onion URL repository. Onion URL repository is an area where you can see websites having extension .onion. Using normal browsers, you cannot search this website having Onion extension. For that, you have to use a browser called a Tor browser, Tor browser. Then the academic search engines: Google Scholar, Microsoft Academic Search, then Synapse.io. I think many of you are not familiar with that academic search engine, Synapse.io, and they state that claims that Synapse.io is more effective than Google Scholar. I will show the demo in the end. Then academic databases. For a research scholar or a research guide or an active researcher, a cutting-edge researcher should search academic databases of his or his discipline first. I will show the examples. See, commerce databases. See, See the main topic, commerce, research guide, then subtopics, accounting, marketing, finance, entrepreneurship, company research, industry research, international business, knowledge management, business law. These are the sub-disciplines of commerce. Then see the databases available, ABI Inform, Business Source Complete, Academic Search Premier, Cable's Directory, then CBCA Complete, Country Commerce, the Economic Intelligence Unit. These are all paid databases, but the most trending and authoritative information are available from these databases. If you search Google, you can get the general information. You will get specialized information when you search these databases. Then country reports, then Credo reference, thesis and dissertations from Procast, then EconLit, Emerald, Factiva. So many academic databases are there. So a research scholar or a research guide should know what are all the different academic databases in their field, and their search should start from there. All these databases will allow you to create free user ID and password, and they will allow search also. You can get the abstract citations and abstract. So you can easily find most relevant information from this academic databases. For example, for an economics research scholar, suppose he wants to study the comparative analysis of different global economies. Normally, we go to Google and search it, comparative analysis of global economy. But there is a source. See, this is CEIC.data.com. Accurate macro and microeconomic data you can trust. Explore the most complete set of 5.5 million time series covering 200 economies, 20 industries and 80 macroeconomic sectors compiled from 2,200 sources worldwide. See, if you started your search in Google and you researched and your research ended with Google, you may have missed this most relevant information if you have missed this source, CEIC. Like that, many sources are available in different subjects for accessing relevant information. For that, you have to identify the most relevant databases in your area first. See, this is a character study appeared in New York Times, and it's about Matthew J. Boylan, a research librarian at New York Public Library. And he's known as magician because daily more than 300 questions comes to his desk for clarification, and he answers it correctly, so that he is known as magician over there. And how he answers all these questions correctly, and the answer he gives is, see, in certain sense, the work I do begins where the internet ends. Certain things you cannot find with Google. That means Google is not capable of finding all the information. Then, see, another quote by Matthew J. Boylan: I sit near millions of books and I have access to. Some mic is on there. I sit near millions of books and I have access to 650 databases. That is academic databases. That means for all disciplines, it's around 650 databases. So a research scholar should know what are all the databases available in his or her subject first. Then start searching. Then go to academic search engines. Then use meta search engines. Then use general search engine, etc. I will show you the example of academic search engine Google Scholar. I think many of us are familiar with Google Scholar. Why Google maintains two search platforms, Google and Google Scholar. Google Scholar indexes educational content and Google indexes only general content. That's the difference. See, this is the Google Scholar interface. Give a keyword, nanotechnology. The general keyword. See how many results are there. 21,30,000 results are there. See, the first output is from Elsevier group and the second is from Nature. That means most relevant information is appearing in the search outputs in the beginning. This is academic search engine, and so many features and facilities are available in Google Scholar for retrieving information. And the one is, suppose you are doing a review of literature, If you want to get literature of year wise, there is a facility in Google Scholar. See the custom range option on the left side of the Google Scholar. See the keyword given here is nanotechnology, and I see the first output, it is from 2008, and the second output is from 2005, and third one is from 2017. I'm clicking the custom range option since 2020. See the output. The first output is of 2020, second is also from 2020, and third is from 2020. That means you can find the relevant literature year-wise by using this time frame or time series area of Google Scholar. Since 2019, just click it. See the outputs are all from 2009. This is how to use Google Scholar effectively. And one more facility is there. See on the left side, there is an option called Create Alert option. Just click it. When you click the Create button option, there is a two fields appears there in title nanotechnology. That means in title means whenever the keyword nanotechnology appears in any web page titles, send it to my email ID. You can give your email ID and create the alert option. That means if you create multiple alert queries in Google Scholar, you will get the most relevant trending information to your mail each and every day. There is no need for you to further search in different search engines, etc., etc. This Google Scholar will help you to find the relevant information or the information appearing in the World Wide Web to your mail daily or weekly. So make use of this create alert option in Google Scholar. Another thing is, see Google Scholar, see in the bottom area of each output, there is a quotation mark. That means cite. Just click it. If you click it, you can see the bibliographic data in accurate format, different style manual format over there. MLA, APA, Chicago, Harvard, Vancouver, etc. Just copy paste. When you write articles, if you are referring these outputs, you can easily copy paste this bibliographic data to your paper. This is another facility of Google Scholar. Then see the cited information is given in the bottom area, cited by 45%. That is improving cancer immunotherapy through nanotechnology, and that paper is cited by 45 people. Go to that 45 purpose and know and try to know why these 45 persons or 45 authors cited this paper. It may be because of varied reasons, and when you read all that 45 purpose, you will get a concept, an exhaustive concept of what nanotechnology can do in improving cancer immunotherapy, and you can find, most probably you can find a new research area or research gap there by reading all the 45 purpose. This is what Google Scholar do. And another academic search engine is Microsoft Academic Search. See, it's by the company Microsoft, and Google Scholar is by Google, and two search engines varies in their capabilities and capacities. So naturally, Microsoft Academic has also some different capabilities. Try finding out it. Then one more academic search engine is Synapse. Synapse.io. And this is an academic search engine for academic purpose, and they claims that it's more capable than Google Scholar. And see the home page, and see covering 48,000 journals and counting. We are better than Google Scholar. We mean it. So try using Synapse and try to understand what is the difference when you give a keyword, a single keyword or a multiple keyword in Google Scholar, or in Synapse and in Google Scholar, or by giving a Boolean operator keyword in Google Scholar and Synapse. Try to know what are the difference in the search outputs. So academic databases, you should know, you have to create user ID and password in academic databases of your choice or of your discipline. You have to search academic search engines, then meta search engine, then general search engine like Google, Yahoo, etc. Then during how to It's an illegal site. How to access journal articles of your choice. There is a website called Sci-Hub, and Sci-Hub will help you to download almost all the 90% of the subscribed content from paid databases. It's an illegal site. When using Sci-Hub, try using Tor browser to access Sci-Hub so that your IP is masked. Suppose just try it. I'm not showing because it's a webinar. If it was a closed platform, I would have shown the demo. Try copying the URL DOI of any journal article, paste it here, then click the open button. The full text can be downloaded. This is what Sci-Hub do. Then if you want to download books of their choice, one source is LibGen. LibGen will help you to download almost all the books, foreign books, and 80 to 90% of books can be downloaded from LibGen. Try using LibGen also. If you want to download open access journals, and one site is directory of open access journals, you can download more than 10,000 journals. Free access journals are there. You can download it. Then for getting theses, for getting Indian theses, the source is Shodhganga. Many of you know Shodhganga. Shodhganga archives the theses awarded in Indian universities. Shodhganga. If you want to get synopsis, you can use Shodh-Gangotri. Go to Shodh-Gangotri, give the keyword business ethics. You can download 10 or 20 synopses on business ethics. Suppose your topic of interest is business ethics. Try going through all those synopses. Try finding out the major concept, the variables, dependent, independent, etc. variables, find out, then frame a question, start searching. This is how the research progresses. Shodh-Gangotri. And this is all about Indian theses and Indian synopses. Suppose you want to get foreign theses, you need to search NDLTD, that is a Networked Digital Library of Thesis and Dissertation. This is the site where you can find theses awarded in foreign universities, NDLTD. If you want to get theses of European universities, there is a source, that is Dart Europe e-thesis portal, and so many sources are there. Then ProQuest thesis and dissertations. ProQuest thesis and dissertations. The paid database, you can search over there and you can download valuable thesis or most relevant thesis from high-ranking universities in the world. I have prepared a PPT on different information sources, and it lists more than 120 sources in social sciences. I will share this PPT to all of the registered participants. These are information search tools, library catalog, full text databases, aggregators, then institutional repositories, etc. All these are mentioned in this PPT. Full text list of full text databases, then other sources, etc. are listed. Sci-Hub is there, Genesis, so many sites are listed here. I'm not going to explain all of this during this webinar. You go through this PPT and ask me any doubts if you come across while going through this PPT. And I will show you some more searching strategies which will help you to get relevant information, authentic information. For example, take a Google interface, give a keyword nanotechnology. See the output, 3,85,000 results are there. 3,85,000 results. And a searcher will not look into all these results for getting information. So there are strategies to get most relevant information in the first outputs. Give the syntax file type : PDF. See, the first output is from nano.gov. That means it's an authentic link, and the syntax given there is file type : PDF. Try searching next time, giving this symbol keyword and also the same keyword with this syntax, file type colon PDF, you will realize what the difference in using this syntax and symbol keywords. And another search strategy is give the syntax site colon edu. That will list web pages or links which are uploaded by educational institute. See the first example, it's from a GATTEC, means it may be a research institute, then scout.wisc.u, it's an university. See, the documents uploaded by educational institutes are most probably authoritative and authentic one. Then site colon gov, from governmental institutions. See, all the initial outputs will be there from governmental institutions. These are all advanced searching strategies. Then I will tell you something else. Give the syntax in title in the beginning. In title. To give the in title, then give the press the enter key. See the results, 21,200. It was around 8 lakh something when we gave the keyword nanotechnology as a symbol keyword. But when we give the in title syntax in the beginning, the search output is only 21,200. Go through the initial result, then try finding out whether it is relevant or not. Then in title, in text. It's also another search syntax. It's 2,78,000 results when we give the keyword in text. Then in URL, it's also another keyword syntax in URL. It's only the 30,800 results. So there are so many search strategies. Try using all of these strategies in your future searches. Try using Boolean operators and or not while searching academic databases. Use different search engines, general, meta, deep web, academic search engines. Try creating user ID password in academic databases. Then search over there in the beginning of your search. Then use topic finders, Answer the Public, then Gale topic finder, etc. to find the concept map or the concept tree of a theme you are interested in. I will show the example of Answer the Public. Answer the Public. This is the website of Answer the Public. Just click the, then give the keyword trade war. Suppose you are interested in trade war, give the keyword trade war, then press the enter button. See what the output Answer the Public will give. It will give a concept map. See what, where, when, why, who. See trade war. What, who won trade war? Who started trade war? Who wins trade war? Who wins trade war with China? Who started trade war with China? Who benefits trade war? See the number of questions. This is only a simple concept. Who? And there are so many questions there. Then why trade war? Why trade war happens? Why trade war was started? So you will get a concept map of a central theme so that you can formulate a tentative title to begin your search. These are called topic finders, and try using topic finders when you search for information. And for research guides and teachers, when the final year students or degree students or PG students come and ask for in which topic I have to do research, try using this topic finders and try looking at the questions to be answered and tell the students to do their research or study in that area. And this is an easy tool for finding topics. I think I have covered almost all the things which I intended to tell to you. Then if you during the COVID era, you may not be able to access all the documents. So try using interlibrary loan facility of the university library in which you have a membership. In university libraries, they have a facility known as interlibrary loan, or they have the access to Delnet, which is an interlibrary loan service, from which you can get all the documents which are not available in public domain. So try using that. Many of the university libraries have opened their resources for remote access. In MG University, you register for getting remote access password. They will give it to you. Then try using Sci-Hub. It will help you to download almost 90 to 95 of all the journal articles. Try using LibGen. You can download almost all the books. Then NDLTD and Chodganga will help you to download thesis and dissertations, etc., etc. So in this technology era, there is no problem in accessing your academic documents, even sitting in your home with an internet connection and a gadget to access it. That's the take-home message I would like to share with you. There is no problem or no difficulty in accessing any documents of your choice, of your discipline. So there is no scarcity of resources, and technology is helping you to access all the information and make use of that facilities, and try to flourish or make more quality research outputs in your area. So I would like to conclude, and you can ask any questions of my presentation or clarifications needed. I will tell you.
Thank you, Sri Jasmuddin sir, for your valuable presentation. That was indeed fruitful and informative. We will go ahead and take some time for questions now. Please be sure to type your questions in the chat box.
You can chat your queries in the chat box. I will give my email ID and number over there in the chat box. Just scribble it down in your notepad, and you may. And my phone number also. Or send a message through my website, jasim.in. That's an option to send messages. What is the difference between dollar and asterisk? It differs with each database. You can give any of that symbols when the truncation or wildcard is given. Each database use some database will use dollar, some will use but asterisk, etc. I think no questions are there. Rajiv sir, questions on the wind up here now. One question is there. What is the? Kindly share the PPT. I will share. Then my contact number I have given in the chat box. Once again, I am typing my phone number. Then questions are there. I will go through it. Plagiarism software commonly used. Virkin and Turnitin are the software commonly used. What is the relevance of using free OS like Ubuntu in research? You can use any softwares. OS, Ubuntu or Windows, no problem. But it's free. Ubuntu is free. Then referencing and formatting codes available like LaTeX for thesis type. Word uses MLA outdated version. You try using Mendeley or EndNote. Then best sites for science related topics. Just search authoritative source or relevant websites in science. How to a college can subscribe to ILL? Just give it's around 20,000 rupees per year to subscribe to Delnet, which is an interlibrary loan service. Then Fatima Nadir, go to Internet Public Library and see the best science related sites. Then Babu TP, okay, fine. Punya Rishikesh, second time attending Jasim sir's class, super everything. Okay, thank you. Then best sites for literature. Literature Resource Center is a best site and it is available through eLibrary USA. Try subscribing British Council Library online. You will get plenty of resources on literature. Then other sites, other websites other than LibGen for books and sci-fi. And I have mentioned in the PPT, you go through the PPT. What are the sites for history? Just search. I have told you the ways and methods for finding relevant information. Just search, start your searching by relevant websites in history. Then relevant databases, authoritative websites in history. You will get a list of authoritative sites. If there is a difficulty to find that site, just contact me. Is there any free software for plagiarism? So many free softwares are there. Just give me a mail or WhatsApp message. I will share you the details of free plagiarism detection softwares. Sites for behavioral finance topic. I will search and give you a list of behavioral finance topic. Then Allegra, thank you. Is there any way you can avail Urkund? Just contact your university administrator or librarian. They will give you the user credentials of using Urkund. If you have a research department in your institution. Is there any problems in sending books downloaded from LibGen through WhatsApp? Shamshana, it's illegal to send books, but many of us do it. So just do it. Then Tenchita, how to find out all research work done in our, it is called the art of literature review. Rega, you please go through the book of Arlene Fink, How to Do Literature Review. Just give me a mail. I will share you the soft copy of that book. Or other interested, please give me a mail. I will send that. Go through that book and you can get the tips and tricks to find out all research work done in our topic. Sites for download Indian books. Indian books, അങ്ങനെ കിട്ടാറില്ല. കാര്യം ഇന്ത്യക്കാരെല്ലാം എന്താണ് പൈസ എടുത്ത് ബുക്കൊന്നും മേടിക്കാറില്ല. ഇത്തരം സൈറ്റുകളിൽ അപ്ലോഡ് ചെയ്യാറില്ല. Foreigners regularly buy digital books and upload their books in these types of portals so that we can download it. ഇന്ത്യക്കാരെല്ലാം ദരിദ്രവാസികളായതുകൊണ്ട് ബുക്കുകൾ മേടിക്കാറില്ല, ഇങ്ങനെ അപ്ലോഡ് ചെയ്യാറില്ല. അതാണ് അതിന്റെ പ്രശ്നം. Then a major part because of Friday prayer here in Jeddah KSA, but the beginning have got some okay. Mujib, okay. Try attending other webinars in the coming week. I will inform you. Just give me a WhatsApp message. I will send you the details of coming for webinars. Okay. Anything else?
Sir, good afternoon. I'm Tushar. I have a question to ask. Now, if at all we are using some duplicate checker or Preposio, like that type of plagiarism-free software, if you are using, there is a restriction that 1,000 words only could be done in a paragraph-wise.
Yes.
So when we are doing that check, or when we are doing by Urkund or by Turnitin, the entire project, if you are doing, is there a difference in that we can find? The plagiarism material?
Actually, I would suggest that don't use free plagiarism detection softwares because they archive your submitted items in their database, and in future there could be some difficulties or some problems will arise. The similarity index will be high when you do the final searching of your manuscript after correction. So better use Urkund or Turnitin. They are subscribed content. They do not. There is an option for not adding the submitted manuscript to their database. So try using priced softwares from institutions. And if you buy paid versions of so many softwares or Viper, there is paid options. This problem will not be there. Or I think you have got the answer.
Sir, why? Because now currently University of Calicut has made it mandatory for first year MCOM students or second year MCOM students for compulsory project with plagiarism certificate. So that's why we are confused, like which software to use, because there are some colleges which cannot afford to buy huge amount of money. So
Do you have a
just any-
research center in your institution?
Please repeat.
Do you have a
Didn't get
research
you.
center in your institution?
No, we are not research center.
Hello?
No, sir, we are not research center.
Okay.
Research
If
center.
you have a research center in your institution, the Calicut University will give you the access to Orkun. Otherwise, you may please contact the
Okay.
University Librarian of Calicut University, Dr. Abdul Aziz, and he will somehow help you to rectify or
Okay.
he will
Okay,
help
sir.
you,
Thank
he will
you so
help you
much.
in
Thank
that. Dr. Abdul Aziz, Calicut University Library.
Okay.
So some more questions
you so
are
much.
there
Yes.
in the chat box. Dr. George TM, any problem like copyright issue in downloading and keeping the volume in college library? It is illegal to download copyright soft copies of copyrighted books, but there is an option for library. A library can keep a digitized version of a purchased book for personal research uses. So the answer is yes and no. You can download, you can keep it, but it's a library can, or a librarian can keep a digital copy. Then
സർ അതിനകത്തൊരു ചെറിയൊരു സംശയമുണ്ട്. അത് നമ്മൾ ലിബ്ജനിന്നും സൈഹബിന്നുമാണ് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ഒറിജിനൽ സോഴ്സ് അല്ലല്ലോ.
നിങ്ങൾക്ക് സ്കാൻ ചെയ്ത് സൂക്ഷിക്കാം, സ്കാൻ ചെയ്ത് കുട്ടികളുടെ ആവശ്യത്തിന് പ്രിന്റ് എടുത്ത് കൊടുക്കാനൊക്കെ, അതൊന്നും ഇല്ലീഗൽ അല്ല.
അല്ല, ഞാൻ ചോദിക്കുന്നത് ഇതിപ്പോ സ്കാൻ ചെയ്ത് സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്നതാണോ? ഇപ്പൊ നമ്മൾ ലിബ്ജനിന്ന് നമുക്ക് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യാമല്ലോ ടെക്സ്റ്റ് ബുക്സ്, അതുപോലെ തന്നെ സൈഹബിന്ന് പബ്ലിക്കേഷൻസും എൻ്റെ വേൾഡ് വൈഡ് നാഷണൽ ഇന്റർനാഷണൽ എല്ലാം ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ മാക്സിമം പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്. അപ്പോൾ അങ്ങനെയുള്ള വോളിയൂംസ് നമുക്ക് ആവശ്യമുള്ളത് അവിടുന്ന് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഒരു സോഫ്റ്റ് കോപ്പി ആയിട്ട് തന്നെ കോളേജിൽ സൂക്ഷിച്ചാൽ എന്തെങ്കിലും പ്രോബ്ലം ഉണ്ടോന്നാണ്.
Sorry, there is a network issue. Sri Jasmali sir will be back soon. Meantime, you can fill up the feedback form provided in the chat box. Your e-certificates will be provided within 3 days.
Hello?
Okay, sir is here.
Hello?
You may ask your question.
Okay,
Okay, sir. Continue.
ബോക്സിൽ വേറെ എല്ലാ ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് വന്നോ?
Sir, how can we check the authenticity of a particular journal which we are looking for publishing?
You go to Web of Science or Scopus or UGC Carelist, then identify the journals which are listed there. Most probably, majority of journals listed in Web of Science, Scopus and UGC Carelist are good journals. But when you search UGC Carelist, always look for what? The cloned journalists. Many fake journals are there, which are known as cloned journals. Some persons are creating fake websites of journals listed in UGC Carelist, and then known as cloned journal or predatory journals. Make sure that it is double check before you are publishing. Okay.
Okay, sir. Thank you, sir.
Then. Any other questions?
സാർ, ഞാൻ നേരത്തെ ചോദിച്ച ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻസ് നമ്മൾ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യുന്ന ജേർണൽസ് ലൈബ്രറി കീപ്പ് ചെയ്യണോ എന്നുള്ളതാണ്. അതിനോടനുബന്ധിച്ച് തന്നെ ചോദിക്കുന്നു, ഇത് നമ്മളുടെ ലിബ്ജൻ സൈഹബ് പോലുള്ള സൈറ്റുകളിൽ നിന്ന് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യുന്നതാണെന്നുണ്ടെങ്കിൽ അത് ലീഗലാണോ? നമുക്ക് അഡ്ജസ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് സൂക്ഷിക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്ന ഒരു കാര്യമാണോ?
ഡൗൺലോഡ് ഇല്ലീഗലാണ്, അതാ മനസ്സിലാക്കുക. പിന്നെ നിങ്ങളുടെ കോളേജ് ലൈബ്രറി അല്ലെങ്കിൽ നിങ്ങളുടെ ലൈബ്രറിയിലുള്ള പൈസ കൊടുത്ത് മേടിച്ച ബുക്കിന്റെ ഒരു കോപ്പി സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്ന ലിസ്റ്റില്ല.
പക്ഷെ ലീഗലായിട്ട് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്ത സാധനത്തിന്റെ കോപ്പി സൂക്ഷിക്കുന്നത് പ്രശ്നമാണ്.
അത് ഇല്ലീഗൽ സൈറ്റാണ്, ഇല്ലീഗൽ ഡൗൺലോഡിംഗ് ആണ്. അത് അങ്ങനെ അതിന്റെ കാണാനേ പറ്റത്തുള്ളൂ. പക്ഷെ നിങ്ങൾക്ക് വേണമെങ്കിൽ ഒരു സ്കാനർ ഒക്കെ ഉപയോഗിച്ച് നിങ്ങളുടെ സാധനം ഡിജിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്ത് വെച്ചിരുന്നാൽ അത് കോപ്പിറൈറ്റ് വയലേഷൻ ആവില്ല. ഫെയർ യൂസ് പോളിസിയുടെ പെർവ്യൂവിൽ നമുക്ക് വാദിച്ച് നിൽക്കാം.
അല്ല സാർ, ഇപ്പൊ ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ അത് ഓൾറെഡി സ്കാൻഡ് ആയിട്ടാണ് കാണിക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ അത് അങ്ങനെ നമുക്ക് ചെയ്യാനായിട്ട് പറ്റും.
ഇതിപ്പോ നിങ്ങൾ എന്റെ ലൈബ്രറിയിൽ 10 പുസ്തകങ്ങൾ ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ ഞാനത് ലിബ്ജനിൽ പോയിട്ട് ഡൗൺലോഡ് ചെയ്ത് ഞാനത് സൂക്ഷിക്കും. ആരെങ്കിലും കോപ്പിറൈറ്റ് വയലേഷൻ ആയിട്ട് വരികയാണെങ്കിൽ ഞാൻ പറയും ഞാനിത് സ്വന്തമായിട്ട് ഡിജിറ്റൈസ് ചെയ്ത സാധനമാണെന്ന് പറയും. എനിക്ക് വീണ്ടും ഈ 10 ബുക്കുകൾ ഒന്നുകൂടെ സ്കാൻ ചെയ്യേണ്ട സമയം കളയാനില്ല. അതുകൊണ്ട് ഞാൻ അങ്ങനെ ചെയ്യും.
ഓക്കെ സാർ.
വേറെ എന്തെങ്കിലും? നിങ്ങളുടെ ഇമെയിൽ ഐ ഡി ഞാൻ രാജീവ് സാറിനെ കളക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് ഈ PPT എല്ലാവർക്കും അയക്കാം. പിന്നെ കോൺടാക്ട് നമ്പറൊക്കെ അതിൽ ഒന്നുകൂടെ സ്പെസിഫൈ ചെയ്യാം. എന്തെങ്കിലും ആവശ്യം ഉണ്ടെങ്കിൽ വിളിക്കുക, വാട്സപ്പ് ചെയ്യുക. എനിക്ക് പറ്റുന്ന രീതിയിൽ ഞാനത് ക്ലാരിഫൈ ചെയ്യാൻ ശ്രമിക്കാം. വേറെ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ വൈൻഡപ്പ് ചെയ്യാം രാജീവ് സാറേ.
Okay. Once again, we thank you, sir. Here is the time to end our session with vote of thanks. I invite Mr. Robin Abraham, Faculty of Commerce, to deliver vote of thanks.
ചോദ്യം കേട്ടില്ല, ക്ലിയർ അല്ല. എന്താ പറഞ്ഞെന്നും കേട്ടില്ല.
Sir, vote of thanks പറയാം. ഇനി ക്വസ്റ്റ്യൻ ഒന്നും ഇല്ലെങ്കിൽ
ചാറ്റ് ബോക്സിൽ ടൈപ്പ് പറയുന്ന എന്താ സംസാരം ഒന്നും ക്ലിയർ അല്ല കേട്ടോ. ഇവിടെ കാറ്റും മഴയൊക്കെ ഉണ്ട്, അതുകൊണ്ടാണോ എന്ന് എനിക്കറിയില്ല.
It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks and acknowledge the contribution of those who worked really hard to make this national webinar happen. First of all, I extend my most sincere thanks to Sri Jasimuddin S for the wonderful session. Sir, it was very informative, educative and mind-blowing, sir. Thank you, sir, for leading this webinar. Now I express my sincere gratitude to all the participants who joined the session and made this webinar a fruitful one. Next, I extend hearty vote of thanks to Dr. Raina Thomas, Principal of our college, Dr. Rajiv Thomas, Head of the Department of Commerce, Sri Dinoj Abraham Matthew for the technical support, Ms. Emilal for comparing the session. Once again, thank you all. Stay home, stay safe.
Okay, once again, thanking you all. We appreciate you being here. Thanks again for joining us today. Stay safe. Bye.